Probably one of the most popular requests I get on this channel is a shelf tour. Now, I did one a couple years ago, but I figured if that's what you guys want, I got no problems doing an update. But first, I'm going to show you guys my office setup. I apologize for the lighting here. This isn't my usual setup, and I'm just going to kind of show you my setup, and then I'll get the lights fixed before I do the books. But yeah, here is the office setup. Of course, got Stephen King stuff everywhere. The nice Dark Tower keyhole, as well as the Mark of Ka and Jack Torrance. Then I got my nice Pennywise, his mischief, his headlines here in Derry, and my map of Westeros, so I never get lost. Already got my 2023 calendar up, even though I know it's not 2023 yet. I don't have a 22. It's Silmarillion here, Thingol and Marion, I think that's who that is. And the Beatles, and this is all my education stuff, boring family stuff, and of course my setup, my PC, and my my workspace doubles as everything here. So nothing really extraordinary. Just some people like to get that peek behind the camera here. So that's where I get all the fun editing and stuff. Here's where I usually put all my books that people send me, so I don't forget to actually say thank you at the end of the month. And this is where my usual setup is. I've got it moved out of the way so I didn't collide with it the entire time I was trying to do this video. So yeah, here is usually my view when I am recording a video. So now you guys have seen everything that I see while I'm trying to record one of these videos. So now I think it's a good time to go ahead and take a peek at the actual books here, because I think that's what most of you came to see, right? So this is what I call my secondary shelves, because I can only fit so many on my main wall. But first I'm going to take you guys around the tops of some of these things here. You get a nice look at the world of Elon. That is the world from Michael J. Sullivan's Rhaenyra. Nice patron actually sent that to me. It's not a first edition of Gone with the Wind. It's like a third edition. It's probably the oldest book I own. Of course, the back keeping watch over all of us. So yeah, that's just so nice. I don't want the kids to touch it because it might actually disintegrate. Nice throwback to the original trilogy Star Wars, which is the Star Wars to me, and all my nice Star Wars gear here. Expensive Lego sets, Cad Bane's blaster. These Lego sets took a lot longer to put together than you'd think that they would. Really did. Back in my old metal lunchbox. Remember when they used to give us metal lunchboxes, guys? You could just completely knock someone out with one of those things. My Game of Thrones lamp, House Stark. The hilt is actually Longclaw, Jon Snow's sword from Song of Ice and Fire. Really, really cool. It actually lights up really cool with his lip, but it's actually up there so high because, again, I don't want the kids to break it. And then you get into my Star Wars stuff here. Nice Max Rebo, probably one of my favorite toys as a kid. And a nice logo that someone sent to me. Of course, Chewie. My nice little Funko Pop collection going here. And I know some people hate Funko Pops, but you know what? My kids give me most of them, and they fit the theme. But all my Star Wars books, guys, yes, I've done many a video on the Star Wars expanded universe, as as I call it, Disney. Disney doesn't exist; it's the actual canon here. And the New Jedi Order is one that I will always champion because it was just really just instrumental in that time in high school where I was really just getting into a shared universe. It was really, really exciting stuff. Wife actually crocheted that Yoda, by the way, before there was a Grogu. But she's going to keep doing the rest of them, just hasn't done it actually yet. Had a lot of questions about how I make these stay up here like this. It's just a block, guys. I just have a block back there. It's a styrofoam block, and we just put poster board over it and made it black so it didn't show. That's really all it is, guys. It's just poster board and styrofoam. And more Star Wars books as we continue down here. Actually got a nice little hidden one back here because it didn't fit the size with all of the rest of the Star Wars books, so I kind of hid it behind the journals here. It's a Rogue Squadron the viewers sent me. Haven't actually read it yet. Believe it or not, that's the X-Wing series, one of the few I didn't actually read. So getting into my Jim Butcher stuff here is the Codex Alera, and of course the Big Daddy, the Dresden Files. Probably one of the series I've done the most videos for on the channel, since there are 17 books, and I've done spoiler talks and all kinds of stuff about them. Just did a video about Swan Song too. But back to the Dresden stuff here. Yeah, they don't all match the right way because they made a couple of them white, but it's okay. It looks good, I think. And then just try to keep some series. I've had a lot of people ask, how do you organize what genre? I just try to keep authors and series together. That's about the best I can, but since these are all like different shapes and stuff, that's why I kind of just put them on this shelf here. So yeah, Elric stuff I haven't actually gotten into yet, but I've gotten all three of those nice new collections. Same with Edgar Rice Burroughs Tarzan novels. Zalansky I'd like to get to eventually. Here's those awesome 007 Folio Society editions that a viewer, Joseph, keeps sending to me. They're just so awesome. Thank you so much. They just look so good together. I love the Folio stuff. it just keeps getting better. But here I have, this is actually like my wizard staff. It's handcrafted. I got this at Renaissance Festival. Nice snake. Yeah, it looks really cool. It's really, really awesome. And, you know, maybe someday, I think deep down we all kind of always wanted to be wizards, right? So there you go. This is my Dread Pirate Wesley sword. It's actually broken. Yeah, I got to figure out how to fix that. It's just hanging by a thread. But yes, it is actually a real sword. And never seen its equal. And there is my House Stark Manor. But let's get back to the books here. Make sure I don't knock that over. Because suck if I broke it right after I bought it. Of course, Book of the Fallen Malazan, you might have heard of it. Got them all down here. People think it's an insult putting it on the lowest shelf, but it fits the best right there, guys. It's just, you got limited space. You got to go with the real estate that you have. I love this beautiful matching set, even though they are extremely hard to read because the font is like 4-point. They're very, very big books. Back up to the top. Here is my Realm of the Elderlings. I notice I am missing the Farseer trilogy on this shelf here, and Skeletor always is keeping watch over that. The thing about this is I don't like to put hardcovers and paperbacks together, and these are so beautiful. I got the hardcovers for the Farseer over here, and I know some people think that's psychotic. I don't know. I like the uniform look, and these all fit on one shelf like this, so that's why I don't have Farseer of this collection, because I already have those illustrated editions. Moving down, here's my Bernard Cornwell stuff, and of course, Legend of Driss, which I just got into. Warlord Chronicles, great, guys. Read it if you haven't. Only a few books into Driss, but I'm liking where it's going for sure. I know a lot of you guys, I hate that I have Ayn Rand on here, but look, in business school, they still teach with Atlas Shrugged in finance courses. So lots there, I think, to go through. What I hate about these Driss ones is like some of them don't match. Some of them are numbers and some of them are Roman numerals. It's just so frustrating as a book collector sometimes. But yeah, Ayn Rand, there's going to be hot opinions about it. I just like, the financial aspects of some of the things in that book. So I know that's controversial to some people. Michael J. Sullivan's World here, Royce and Hadrian books. These are all actually signed by Mr. Sullivan. Haven't gotten into the Books of Babel. I love the Greenbow Saga. I just did that. Actually talked to Fonda Lee on the channel, and I haven't gotten into Foundry Side yet. I'm still waiting to get book number 3 when they make the trade paperback that fits with this collection. It hasn't actually come out in the States as of yet. Down here, talked to Nicholas Eames on the channel a couple times. A great guy. I haven't gotten into McClellan yet. I've heard it's very Sanderson light, and I'm like, well, I need to finish Sanderson books first. Witcher, with my nice Geralt's Little Wolf medallion. I hate these U.S. covers, but I figured that the Wolf medallion made it all better, you know. But I hate those video game covers, and of course, after I got them all, then they started making updated ones. Haven't read either of these series yet, Ed McDonald or Robert Jackson Bennett. I don't plan to stop reading anytime soon, so I have lots of stuff on here that I have not read yet, guys. Same with, this is basically going to be my haven't read yet shelf. A lot of people recommend Thomas Covenant to me. Haven't gotten to it yet. Same with The Prince of Nothing. I said I want to finish Malazan before I get into something else that dense. So it's going to be a coin flip between that and Book of the New Sun when I do finally finish Malazan. As far as Feist, it's just never actually happened. But I'm hoping they get that one in 2023. Over here, the Holt books, I honestly bought these because the covers look like John Gwynne books. It's the only thing I have to say. That's my Beetlejuice handbook for the recently deceased. My kids watch it with me every Halloween now, and they love it, so my kid got that for me. It's just a journal. I haven't decided if I'm going to open it yet or not, because I'm not really the handwritten journal type. I do everything on my Excel spreadsheets, honestly. Here is the Sebastian de Castell stuff. So I got a couple of these Spellslinger books to get. I haven't actually started that series yet. I read Greatcoats. I enjoyed that. R.J. Barker, I think I got like 4 or 5 of his books, and I've never actually started one yet. So I don't know where I'm going to start with him. That or the Bone Ships books, I'm not sure. And I haven't read any Miles Cameron yet. But again, I see a matching set for a decent price, and I really can't say no. And like I said, I will eventually read all of these. That is the plan, guys, because like I said, here I have the styrofoam block. If you want to peek, I haven't actually colored it, so it is actually just styrofoam there. But again, guys, $4, you too can expand your shelves, as I have, with a nice styrofoam block. It works brilliantly, especially with these big trade paperbacks. I mean, there's so much wasted real estate. Here's all my Blake Crouch stuff. I'm going to be actually getting into, I think I'm going to do Run Where is it? Right here. I am going to be doing Run eventually, I think, sometime this year, and that should be a lot of fun. I've loved everything I've read by Crouch so far. I do plan to get into Lonesome Dove, just Lonesome Dove. I don't know about these other books yet, but I do plan to read at least Lonesome Dove, and if I love it so much that I just got to know all the backstory, then I'll go back and read the prequels, things like that. I've only read Ender's Game when it comes to the saga here, and I love it. It's one of my favorite science fiction books of all time, probably only behind Dune. But I'm afraid of tainting that legacy because I've heard so many mixed things on those sequels. But I do have them in case I ever get to do it. Old Man's War, I haven't even started yet. Don't know much. I haven't read Anne McCaffrey. I know that's a big one that people usually get onto me for. But here's a nice look at that secondary shelf, as I like to call it. Now we get to the big boy, the big chunker in the middle of the room. Well, first, I'm going to let you see all the art and all the trinkets I have on the tops of the shelves here that you don't ever really get to see on camera. Creatively Crafts, a great website. I'll link it down below. She makes amazing coffee mugs. She made that for me a while back. My mini Pac-Man, and of course my Azazel cup that I give the patrons when they subscribe on Patreon to one of the tiers. There's Shalon Devar, one of the nicest Stormlight arts, and of course Wheel of Time. I mean, what can I say about Wheel of Time? Then all my Stephen King stuff here. Got a couple of tumblers of Pennywise because there's never enough Pennywise stuff to go around. Some art, and of course the framed art that I just love. It's just so cool. I can never have enough Stephen King merch, guys, like ever, and that's just a beautiful collection. And my Dune stuff, obviously, the nice painting. And this is actually another one more of my wife's crochet stuff. She actually did make me, it does move a little bit. It is an actual sandworm of Arrakis, really cool. And of course, the Litany Against Fear, which you should all have memorized by now, for sure. And yeah, I love my little Dune corner here. Moving along, nice Doctor Who logo. I do love me some Doctor Who as much as I love me some First Law, and I think that is just awesome. That's from the comic book. I actually had that blown up and printed out. It is really, really awesome. I love it. And of course, Exterminate, a nice Dalek to make sure that everyone's staying in line. And these are actually bookends that I got from someone, but I don't have space for bookends on my shelf, but they were so cool. I wanted to just put them up here, and I figured put them next to the Shrike here. Probably still one of the greatest covers of any science fiction book ever, and all my bookmarks. And there are a lot of them in a Dresden Files mug that says Fuego. And yes, guys, we do all take the black here, so you have been warned. Okay, first up, this is the shelf that you guys don't get to see on camera. It's the only one, the primary shelf that doesn't fit. So let's kick it off here, beginning with, obviously, Lord Ruler Brandon Sanders. This is the Cosmere shelf. All of my Mistborns are first editions. Very proud of that. And, of course, that nice leather-bound Warbreaker, which is just stupid expensive, but very much worth it. I can't say enough about it. Most of these are signed. The Stormlight Archive, I used the covers that Kraken Book Company sent to me because I was tired of the other ones. Just the originals, just the font doesn't fit. Some are sideways, some are diagonal. It's just weird. So that's why I went that way. I haven't actually gotten it. This is the only non-Cosmere stuff on here is the Skyward Sword, or Skyward Sword, thinking of Zelda. I haven't gotten into those books yet, but I really haven't stepped outside of the Cosmere when it comes to Lord Ruler Sanderson. Then the other ruler, this is Mr. J.R.R. Tolkien. All of my, of course, Lord Sauron here protecting, putting him that close to the ring is probably a bad idea. He's got the one ring right there. Yeah, so here we go. Let's go ahead and look at these. I got this nice Hobbit graphic novel, which I tried to entice my kids with. This is a nice actual Tolkien-like necklace. I didn't know where else to put it. And of course, the one ring itself. I've got multiple versions of the Hobbit, obviously. I just got the new Silmarillion illustrated edition that fits with that new Lord of the Rings edition and replaced my old Silmarillion. And I still got my 50th anniversary Lord of the Rings, and of course that Lord of the Rings, not getting rid of either of them. But I do love that these all have the nice matching logo and things. It's just, these are really nice. These are absolutely beautiful. Haven't gotten into the Great Tales of Middle-earth yet. That is something I plan to do. I don't know when. Before I die, maybe. Philip and I did, this is actually a nice bookmark, Tolkien, but it's leather, but it's too thick. It's like too thick. It actually will bend your pages, so I just use it as like a nice keepsake here. Now, of course, Narnia, one of my favorites as a kid, one of my favorites still today. I love that series, and can't say enough about it. And I did say, me and Philip talked about Beowulf there, and of course the Durin's Bane here. Again, I know people aren't crazy about Funkos, but some of them are just too cool. The Robin Hobb stuff I talked about. And there's the only Sanderson non-Cosmere hardcovers I have, and I just haven't gotten into that. Well, I guess not. I guess the Cytonic and the Skyward are also hardcovers. I don't know. Anyway, it's a complete set there. It's the only non-Cosmere complete set that I have. Moving on to the next shelf here is my Song of Ice and Fire stuff. And guys, make all the jokes you want about, oh, it's never going to be played. Still, maybe my favorite fantasy series of all time. And as you can see with all of the merch and stuff I have, is like really once HBO Shop opened before the first season of Game of Thrones came out, I spent a lot of money at that place, and a lot of it's still here. There's my little ghost right there. I need to make his eyes red though, because it's not actually ghost. I just like to pretend that it is. But yeah, I got the nice the history books. Got the new one just recently, The Rise of the Dragon. Of course, World of Ice and Fire, one of the most impressive art books ever made for any fantasy series. Those maps are just beautiful. Here's all of the original hardcovers. A lot of these are very old, guys. Like pretty much when they first came out with these editions, I've had most of them and bought most of them the day that they came out for Feast for Crows and of course Dance with Dragons. This is the stunning Folio Society edition that one of my patrons actually sent to me. Absolutely crazy impressive, and I wish I could afford to get the other ones. It's just they're already expensive, and then the shipping to the States is like another $100. And my wife would leave me. Of course, these illustrated editions are great, not done yet. I just got these random Lovecraft ones here because I had this little bit of space left. And I figured, why not? I can fit those right here. And of course, Grey Wind. Yeah, so here we go. Moving on to, this is actually a mug from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is Giles. That is actually the mug that he has. And here we go. Yes, you guys know I'm not crazy about Name of the Wind. So much so that I've got 2 versions of it because that's what book collectors do, guys. Because that anniversary edition was really great. And then Brent Weeks. I think I've talked about Brent Weeks ad nauseum on the channel. And right next to another series that pretty much has become the bane of my existence. That was the Demon Slayer. Now, both of these series, when I read the first couple books, I liked them so much, I hunted down the overpriced hardcovers and completed both of these sets on hardcover. And now I'll never finish either series. It's a shame. It really, really is. But again, the perils of book collecting. Really cool. The Cinemaps it's just very famous worlds from movies and stuff you like, and it actually like tracks where they go in the actual story. It's really, really, really cool. Look it up if you haven't seen it. Haven't gotten to Earthsea yet. I'm currently reading the new Brantley Durfee. I'm sad that it's not going to be a matching hardcover. Shogun is in my pipe dream. I don't know when I'm going to do that. There is the essential version of Arthur, Sir Thomas Mallory. I've loved it since I was a kid. I say a kid as like a teenager kid because it was too much when I was younger. Never actually finished the Aragon series, Eldest. I've stopped in the same place twice. And the rest of the Butcher stuff that is not on paperback. And we actually got this Neil deGrasse Tyson book when I was taking Astrophysics 2 when I went back to school. And it just actually became like it was something that we had to buy. It was actually quite entertaining. It really is, even if you're not into to physics and math and stuff like I am. It's pretty cool. Let's go along to Mr. Robert Jordan here with The Wheel of Time. You guys might have heard of it here. And I got lots of little trinkets for this. If you guys do like some dragon, I do have a couple of dragon trinkets here. I'll show you in just one second. But I wish these covers matched better. I just can't justify that payment for the printed ones. They're just, I don't know, they're really expensive. But yeah, if you like dragon, I got another dragon right here. So I know there's supposed to be bookends, but it just looks so cool that like I said, even though I ain't got room for it, I just kind of want to display them. With Shannara, look, I've only read the original series, but these collections were so beautiful, I couldn't really say no to them. So that's what that. I love John Carter of Mars. Barsoom is great. Gormenghast, I have no immediate plans, but a lot of people have recommended to me, and a viewer actually sent that version to me right there. So someday, for sure, I will give it a try, and I'd definitely like to do more Barsoom because Edgar Rice Burroughs is a genius. My Harry Potter stuff, guys. I have made it no secret that I love Harry Potter so much that I am now collecting 3 versions of this story. I got these nice new illustrated editions, which are ongoing. The book 5 just came out, and I've got my original first edition hardcovers, and I've read those more times than I can tell you. And then, of course, the Mina Lima, I think is what they're called, editions. There's only 2 of those out so far, but I do have both those. Haven't actually started to put like all the pop-up book kind of stuff together in there. And I've still never read Cursed Child just because I heard so many bad things about it, but I do have it. I do have it just in case. And look at this. Why can't you guys make this line up? Jesus, the second book you've already screwed up. Good grief, man. Sometimes it's hard being a collector. It's really, really hard. And this Solemnly Swear I'm Up No Good, my kids did get for that for me. And I was like, are you sure this isn't something that you guys need to keep? Because you guys are never up to any good. And then we got some random stuff here. I did my little stacking trick again. I told you guys what I thought about Lee Bardugo. Did read that. First couple of that. The Liza Lockemoras, as far as I got in Gentlemen Bastards, it was just one of those things where people said, well, if you didn't love that book, you're definitely not going to like books 2 and 3. So I just said, okay, well, maybe I'll come back to them some other day. I loved the Nevernight trilogy by Jay Kristoff. I thought it was really underrated. Mia's a great, great character. So I wish more people would give his books a try. And Percy Jackson actually bought these for my kid, and he just didn't seem that interested in it. So I'm thinking maybe when that Disney Plus series comes out, maybe he'll get interested in it and pick those up. I read Dante's Inferno here, the Divine Comedy. I read that in high school, and it was so intimidating, but I did find a lot that I'd like to take away from Purgatory. Really, really good. Got my classics here, Poe, Robert E. Howard, Lewis Carroll. Obviously, I think that those are some fine authors that I think all people should enjoy. Those are beautiful, beautiful editions. Then all of my Michael J. Sullivan stuff here. Actually, that 6 series set right there in the nice slip sleeve, he actually sent to me as a thank you for having him on my channel. And I'm like, are you kidding? I wanted to thank you. So, Michael J. Sullivan, amazing author and an even better human being. Such a nice guy. Him and his wife were really, really awesome when I talked to them on the channel. Moving down here, again, just some random sets. Princess Bride, Robin Hood. These are my folios of I Am Legend and The Road by Cormac McCarthy. Don't know much about any of these other series because I haven't actually read them. I haven't read the Alex Marshall books. Andrea Stewart's that series, I think it's about to conclude and I haven't started. Jules Verne was probably like one of my first experiences with science fiction. The Grimm Company by Luke Scull is one that people just tell me that you like First Law. It'd be pretty good. Count of Monte Cristo, one of the greatest books of all time. Mark Twain absolutely deserves all the praise that he gets. And Iliad and Odyssey and Art of War are just... You gotta be in the mood for something like that, and I haven't actually done those, even though they teach Art of War some in high school. Stephen King stuff here, guys. I did a bookshelf tour before, and one of the videos was exclusively on Stephen King. The reason I decided not to split it up like that this time is because not much has changed with my Stephen King shelf. A couple of new trinkets, really, but not enough to justify a new video. The only new books he's put out since then are Billy Summers, Fairy Tale, and Later. So I didn't really feel the need to update that. This graphic novel series is probably a new one, I think. Sumatra, one of my longest patrons, sent that to me. These Stephen King editions, man, the Dark Tower, the Viking. I wish that they would complete this series so they would all match those first 4 there. But, you know, these are over here first edition, so that's cool. A lot of people asking about the gun. You've seen me use that in my Dark Tower videos with my Ka button. And, of course, my room key to room 217. No, the gun is not real, but it does look real, right? And I paid a little more than I'd like to admit for it. But yeah, Stephen King stuff, obviously. This is going to be a great shelf. Something that I love to look at all the time. But again, I just decided it's not enough for me to, justify doing another bookshelf tour of just a Stephen King shelf. Even though I probably could. Anytime you get more Stephen King merch, I'm all for it. This one's actually sent to me by a viewer. I do appreciate anything that people send me because it's just like, you think with Stephen King, you'd be able to find a lot of merch out there. You really can't as much. I mean, obviously the Funkos, my nice shiny carpet there. Again, believe it or not, my kids buy this stuff for me. It's wild, right? That's my first edition of It, which I'm very, very proud of. I wish I could get it signed, but these things just don't ever work out. I went to go get a book signed by him one time, and literally when I got there like 8 hours early, and they're like, "Yeah, if you're not going to get in there." So I blew my one opportunity to get a book signed by him. Really, really shame. But that was the book that I had to actually take to try to get signed by him. It didn't work. These are my book club editions. I'd like to upgrade these to actual real editions eventually. It's just not in the plans right now. And as you can see, I'm starting to run out of room for a Stephen King shelf. So the guy keeps putting out 1 or 2 novels every year. I'm eventually going to have to upgrade to a bigger shelf if I want to keep Stephen King all on one. But yeah, obviously, favorite author of all time, he deserves his own shelf, right? Over here is where we start to get into some of the other stuff. Obviously, Dune. I got my Funko Pops. Kid got me both of those. And he calls Baron Harkonnen the fat Darth Vader guy, and that's what he got me. When I got these upgraded Dune paperbacks, I just couldn't stand to get rid of my original ones I've been reading since high school. The original version of Dune actually broke in half. I read it so many times, but the 2, 3, and 4, I just couldn't bear to get rid of them. Here's all of my copies of Dune. Theo from Rekindle Reader, he actually sent me this Folio Society edition. That's why he is my ride or die for life. And Dune, what can I say about it? You guys know how much I love it at this point. There's some beautiful editions out there. I just can't bear to get rid of any of them. And of course, Red Rising, which we'll be rereading in January, and Ender's Game, my second favorite science fiction book of all time. A lot of questions. When are you going to read Book of the New Sun? Well, just like I said with Prince of Nothing, guys, after I finish Malazan, before I get into reading another heavy, dense series like that. Getting back into The Expanse starting next month. I'm on book number 3. Wife actually made this MCRN cover, in case anybody was wondering where I got that. She actually made that for me. Once I started showing her the show, she got really into the show as well. And so she made that for me, showing how much I like coffee just as much as James Holden does. But I'm excited to get back to this series. I'm on book number 3. I'm going to be starting that here soon. And then my second favorite author of all time, guys, Michael Crichton. So far ahead of his time. This guy was just a juggernaut in the 90s. And every book he put out was just so ahead of its time. And I don't know how to say, man. I miss him. I miss this guy. I miss whenever a book of his came out and he just burned through it in a night. The guy was a genius. Speaking of another genius, Ray Bradbury. I've got this Call of the Wild over here that I actually think is really beautiful, but it just kind of gets buried over here in the corner. So I just kind of wanted to show that off. But yeah, Something Wicked This Way Comes, my favorite Ray Bradbury book. And yeah, he's brilliant. And then kind of my vampire stuff. Empire of the Vampire, Dracula, and then all the Anne Rice books. And yeah, look, with the Vampire Chronicles, I think really what you should focus on is the original trilogy. That's just Vampire Lestat, Interview the Vampire, and Queen of the Damned, this version right here. But where everybody else stops, it kind of varies, depending on you. But even bringing Lestat back into it really couldn't get me back into the series after I kind of fell off. I wish I didn't have my Lovecraft stuff just kind of hidden down here. I just don't know where else to put it right now. There's my nice mug that viewer Lockie actually sent to me a while back. But yeah, H.G. Wells. I've really gotten into Blake Crouch recently. Andy Weir, Project Hail Mary was great. Martian was great. Clive Barker, I'd like to actually read more of. All I have read of him so far is Weave World. I do got some eventually to get to. I still haven't finished the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. I got book 3 left. I think book 1 was amazing. Book 2 just kind of, I feel like I lost the plot a little bit. It kind of bummed me out. And then some more horror stuff, scary stories I just reviewed on the channel. Frankenstein, maybe the first science fiction novel ever. And Haunting of Hill House, one of my favorite horror books ever written. And guys, you know how much I love, again, this is another one from Creatively Crafts. She does amazing work, guys. Go buy from her. She's awesome. And yes, I do have multiple versions of the First Law trilogy. Probably my favorite modern fantasy series. That is completed. I mean, I guess technically it's still going, you know, because if you've read all the way through the end of the Age of Madness, you can tell it is still kind of open-ended. So I want to say it's actually complete. So yeah, who knows? Who knows? I don't know what I'm talking about. I hope he never stops writing this world. And there, of course, is the Blade itself, as I like to at least pretend that it is. Then, guys, do you know that I do happen to love me some John Gwynne? And I have that thing right there because John Gwynne broke my TBR so bad in 2020. I did not even expect to read him that year. And then I read like all 7 of the books in the Banished Lands because it just kind of just took over my life. Love it. I think he's an amazing author. And I'm glad that he's starting to get a lot of recognition on BookTube because he's great. And his kids, Ed and Will, they have a great channel too, the Brothers Gwynne. I love those guys. They are awesome. Ted Williams I just got into this year. My brother's been begging me to read Ted Williams for decades. And I finally did do Memory Star on Thor. Of course, my Sonic Screwdriver from the 11th Doctor. I do love me some Doctor Who. Now, this actually is supposed to be a bookmark. I kind of try to make it look like that, but you can't really tell because of the lighting. But yeah, it does actually go together. Anyway, Otherland I think I'm going to get into after that. Down here, yes, I do not like spoilers. I don't spoil stuff for other people, and I hope they don't do it for me. Don't know if I'm ever going to read Black Company just based off the things I said I didn't like about Malazan. Everybody said, you might not like Black Company. I think Lycanius is underrated. Melissa McPhail sadly passed this year before she could finish her series. Very, very bummed out. Oh my god, I've been looking for this book for months. It's been on my shelf the whole time. Oh my god, that's when you know you have too many books, guys. Is when you don't know that it's on your shelf. I've been looking for that book for months because Mike Shackle actually sent that to me. God. Man. Okay, yeah. So the Legacy series by Matthew Ward, really great story that he used to work Games Workshop, and now he's got a completed trilogy that I haven't actually gotten into. I hope to get into those Bradley P. Boyer books this year, or actually next year, because we are coming up on next year. And it's exciting stuff. There's a lot of series I'd like to start next year. And again, just some random stuff. I'm getting back into the Ash and Sand Richard Nell books here in December. Plan to do books 2 and 3 of that in December. I've never gotten into Anthony Ryan, but I'm ready to go when I do get into it. And these Chakraborty books, I've heard just a mixed reaction on our Discord with the read-along they just did. And then Michael Fletcher, no, I need to read it. I know. Now, I try to get into some sci-fi stuff here, guys. I try to separate this stuff. It just doesn't work. There's my Starship Enterprise. Of course, Asimov. I mean, that's one of the pillars of science fiction, right? And then Mr. Rockio. And you know what? The only one I don't have signed, guys, is the one that is the hardest to find, of course. That is Empire of Silence. That's the only one I don't have signed. But hopefully Christopher does make his way out here eventually, and I can have that done. Hyperion, I think, is maybe one of the greatest science fiction books of all time. I haven't gotten into Alistair Reynolds yet. And guys, you know I like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I like it just enough that I keep 3 versions of that story because it's just so much fun. Again, this right here, this shows why I get so frustrated with Orbit. Is that the worst for Dagger on the Coin? Is that the worst spine lineup you've ever seen in your life? Unacceptable, Orbit. What are you thinking? My God, this isn't that hard. This isn't that hard. Make your spines match. Hamilton and Tchaikovsky. I haven't read Tchaikovsky, but every time I go to Alan's channel, Library of Alexandria, he makes me want to read Tchaikovsky. Silo, I tried the first book. I don't know. Maybe I'll get back to it. Then we get into my comics and my manga stuff. Now, right here, this is like 3 of my favorite comics of all time. Saga is still ongoing. It is still great. Lock and Key is definitely one of the best horror comics of all time. And Sandman was transformative to me as a freshman in high school. Hellblazer, John Constantine is one of the greatest characters ever. And gun to my head, favorite comic ever, Preacher. Preacher by Garth Ennis is just amazing. I haven't tried Akira yet. But yeah, these 3 right here, I think just kind of epitomize my high school years when I first really got into going through completed comics. And here, this is stuff that the viewers have sent to me. I haven't read 20th Century Boys. I haven't read Vagabond, but I've heard amazing things about both of them, and I look forward to doing that eventually, because I do go through these little bursts of manga. I'll read a ton of them, and then I won't read anything for like months or whatever. I don't know. It's weird like that, but you can't fly through them when you are actually really in that mood. Watchmen might be my favorite comic of all time. Not named Preacher. So many good ideas. Hellsing. Again, great things. Haven't gotten into it. Here's my old Marvel glasses. These are quite old. They used to have more space for them here. Berserk, only got volume 1 so far. Those, after Miss Miura sadly passed away, those really went up in price. I'm really liking Junji Ito so far. And of course, Vinland Saga has been amazing thus far. And again, more of the Marvel glasses. Here we got Thor and, of course, Tony Stark, Iron Man. So, yeah, way, way old stuff. And I just couldn't bear ever to get rid of them. But, you know, that's it for the shelves, guys. But there are more. Here's all the stuff I don't have room for. And it's organized pretty now. I had them in stacks before. Here's all the hardcovers that currently do not have a home. Because I don't know how to get them all on the shelves, guys. I can't fit another shelf in here. But, you know, it's stuff that I don't want to get rid of or anything. So I've got to try to make some tough decisions on what I'm going to do with the room, and I don't have a plan yet. I don't have a plan yet, but I'll figure something out. Is what I keep telling myself. Eventually, I'd like to move a lot of my paperbacks into the game room, but I got to wait for the kids to be a little older because I just don't trust them right now. You know, with what I would put out there, I'm afraid it would just end up shredded or something. So yeah, lots of backstock, I guess, if you will. But it's again, these are good problems to have. I like to say, you know, I'm never going to complain about having too many books, you know, and I plan to read, you know, everything that I currently have in the room. I'm hoping to eventually be able to read more bookends I don't have room for, you know, but can't bear to get rid of these things. Those actually have sentimental value, which I won't go into here. And here's the rest of the Overstock. Try to organize them by size here. Figure that would be the best way to kind of keep them separate. Thanks for letting me show off my chaos of the things that I don't have done yet. So that's yeah, that's a lot of stuff. That's not even counting all the stuff that I recently gave away to the I sent up to the Harris County Prison for all of the inmates there, hoping to find other worlds in these. But guys, that is my shelves. I think it's quite different, obviously, than the ones that I showed off in 2020. I think it's changed quite a bit. But yeah, obviously this is something you guys wanted to see. It's something that's very, very important to me. It's something that you know, I'm not gonna lie, makes you feel real good seeing like some of your favorite stories all nicely collected and organized. It's something I never could have imagined having when I was younger, and this is kind of like a dream library that I've kind of started to put together here. But guys, I would be interested in hearing about your shelves. Why don't you hit me on Twitter or join the Discord and drop some shelfies on there. I would love to see them. Thanks for taking the tour with me, guys, and I hope that it did ease your curiosity a bit.